Hi everyone. We thought it would be an interesting thing for you to go behind the scenes while the curtain's down at the Art Center and the stage is dark. So today I have with me my fellow co-worker and friend, Vice President of Production, Brian Riley.
Hello, welcome to Backstage at the Art Center in Coastal Carolina. Where we are right now is known as the prep area. This is where we literally prep all our shows. Back in this cubby, in the corner, you can see behind me is Paige.
Hi, Paige.
She's our props master. Her job is to create all things for furniture, dishware, anything decorative for every show that we do. That's her coop, and that's where she works. Behind me is the set for Kinky Boots. Currently it is in storage, and we are doing some minor work on it while we have some time. It's big, as you can see, and this is not all of it. This is about half of it. So other parts, if you look down toward the hallway, you can see there are staircases, soft good hampers, flying units. So we're trying to multitask as we go. If you look behind it above, that is part of props. That's where all her fabric is. That's where she makes our drapery, sofa cushions, pillows, all that she does up there. We're next going to go backstage to the Elizabeth Wallace Theater. So if you'll follow me. So this is backstage at the Elizabeth Wallace Theater.
And it's probably a lot deeper than people think.
It
because
is.
they're really only seeing, audiences are only seeing
Right.
half of it.
It actually is approximately 3,200 square feet, which is larger than the average house. The grid is 48 feet in the air. The grid is where all the flies, if you look up where the lighting instruments and the drapery, that's called the fly system, and the grid is the structure above it.
And how many people at a time during a show do we have backstage?
We can have anywhere from 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And that does not include actors. That's wardrobe, scene change, audio, all those people are involved. So it's another show back here. It's actually a ballet, really. And across the stage is Julia Hughes. She's our deck chief. She is the one that is responsible for making this run smoothly backstage during the show. And if you look out toward the house, we'll go down this way just a little bit. There's the theater house. Above that, in those rooms you see are the sound and light control booths. There's Aaron to your left.
Aaron is our sound designer.
Aaron is our sound designer engineer. He is responsible for all things audio and video. Like I said, the stage is large. It's actually larger than most Broadway houses. If you look forward here, this is known as the apron. And these first two rows cover our orchestra pit. And for every musical, we have a full orchestra, those rows come out. And the orchestra pit has a cover on it, and then so that allows us to free up space on stage. Now we have, in some cases, put the band on stage. And some of the shows next year we will.
So 349 seats.
We lose 36
these
seats.
Two
right.
rows in.
So every time we do a musical, we have to give up 36 seats.
Tell us about the numbers, Brian, what those mean.
These are the dance numbers. And this is so that every performer can know where they are on stage. And what you'll often see when we do what's called spacing rehearsal, which is the first day of technical week, is the director or choreographer say, go to 2, go to 4, go to 6. It's so they have a common reference to where they are on stage. And you can see 0 is at center stage. So it's always from left to right. And this actually came out of a chorus line. It was chorus line's the one that created this idea. And ever since then, every musical does that. We all sometimes use them for our straight shows, especially if you have a farce where you've got a lot of activity. Mm-hmm. It's easier for them to go, well, I'm on 8, safely I need to get to 4. Well, then the other person may need to go to 2. It's literally choreographed. So that's what those are all about. So we'll go over to fly system real quick.
So you're literally going to show us the ropes now.
Yep. 90% of the stuff you see on stage fly systems is based on old sailing terminology. There were days back in the day when the people who ran the fly system were sailors because they understood how ropes work and pulleys work and all that. That's why there's a legend in theater, you never whistle on stage. Because back in the old days, before communications, whistles were how you communicated cueing a show. So if you whistled a certain pattern, somebody would fly something in or fly something out. So that's one of those sort of myths about the theater is you never whistle on stage. You also leave out, and we do this, a ghost light. And the reason you do that is every theater has a ghost. I don't care where you've been, they have one.
We for sure have one.
We have a couple. And if you don't leave the light out for the ghosts, they will come in and move your stuff. I mean, I have come in here and things have been moved.
Because
So-
you didn't have the ghost light on?
That's right, that's
Okay.
right. Because you don't want the ghost to trip. And that's just one of the things about the theater. You know, that's why you have upstage versus downstage. Because originally the stages were raked. In the old opera days, they were slanted like this, so you went up the
Literally
stage.
upstage, yeah.
That's why it's called upstaging somebody, is you went up above them,
Julia just brought us our ghost light.
okay, and that goes out every night. So the fly system, go back to fly system. This is called counterweighted, and what it means is for every pound of weight here equals the same pound of weight on the line set itself. This is called the arbor. So the theater currently has about 65,000 pounds of weight to run the fly system. And the reason we do that is that one person can run it. If not, you would take 4 or 5 people, and again, going back to the old sailing terms, you use what were called sandbags, because you would actually counterweight something. We don't have to do that here. So a lot of when we're going into load-in week, this becomes used a lot, you know, because you're counterweighting for the lighting pipes, you're counterweighting for the drapery, all of that. So there's a science and a math to this, and Julia has to calculate how much weight each thing needs. She does that by talking to, if it's scenery, she'll talk to Ken Post in our TD. If it's lighting, she'll talk to Danny Dunn, our lighting director, and they will discuss how much weight each one needs. So it's fairly intricate and tricky. We're gonna sneak over here real quick and show you one of our dressing areas. This is what's known as the down left dressing area. So imagine having to come in here and in 15 seconds change all your clothes and go right back out. You can see there's hooks on the walls, there's mirrors. But for fire code, we have to keep it clear. So every night, all of this gets pulled out so that we can meet fire code.
And a lot of times with shows that have really quick change, we'll have a dresser back here helping
Correct,
the actor
correct.
pull the clothes on, or we have
Correct.
Velcro or
Right.
special things that
All
make
kind
it
of
go
tasks.
fast.
I mean,
Little theater magic.
There's a whole science to doing quick change costumes, whether you use Velcro, quick snaps. Sometimes, if a costume, like if you have a tear in a costume, they will literally tape it and then fix it the next day. Because this, I mean, again, imagine 5 people lined up here going from, say, street clothes to tux and tails. That's how busy this can get.
And tell us what what is in here.
Well, over here is our scene shop and paint area. And again, just so you're aware, every show you see here that we don't rent, now we rented the Kinky Boot set because of the nature of it. But every show you see here, 95% of them are built here on this site.
Yep,
So-
it's like building a house 5 times a
So
year.
if you've seen Rumors, if you've seen, I'm trying to think of what else they would quickly remember. Mamma Mia, all of that was built in this theater. Les Mis, several years ago, was built in this theater. We're one of the few theaters like ours that does that. Most of them rent now because they can't afford
Right.
the time and manpower. We're lucky that we have a full production staff of 13 people. All artisans, all very creative. So all the stuff, the magic you see here comes out of this space, which is pretty remarkable. when you
That
think
is
about it.
very remarkable. We have a talented staff too.
I can cover.
We're headed to the flag tower now.
So this is known as the mid-rail. What you have here is, you see these are called belay pins. Comes from shipping. You can see the ropes. This is if you want to what's called spot line. Apply something, an individual piece that's not part of the main fly system. As you look across the stage, you can see these line sets are 48 feet long. They can go up to 54 feet. So what this is used for, again, mostly is spotlighting. You can see this is part of the lighting system that the town graciously helped us get. It's an all LED system. So this space is used for storage, running cables, all that kind of stuff. If you look across the stage, you can see a whole nother set of ropes. That's the other mid-rail. And that's where you would load some weight. However, the primary place that you load fly weight is up on the top of the grid, known as the loading gallery. So that person is 48 feet in the air, picking up
Oh, no,
40,
thank you.
44-pound pieces of what's called pig weight. So they're moving those physically one at a time.
Oh my gosh.
So if a line set has 20 pig weights on it, they're moving 20 weights to balance the weight of the line set.
And the audience can't see any of
No.
this because of all these curtains.
This is all part of the magic.
Right.
If you look up here again, comes from shipping. That is known as a ship's ladder, and it goes up to the grid. So if you have to work on the grid, you have to go up these ladders, and that grid is covered what's called subway grade, and it's walkable. You can walk on it.
No thanks. That's okay.
But that's all part of rigging in the fly system.
Wow. Brian, thank you. This
You're welcome.
has been so interesting. I've learned stuff too, and I work here. This is awesome. Thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for this
You're
behind
welcome.
the scenes tour of what goes on to make our shows so magical. We hope to see you here soon.